Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Deathmatch Russell Podcast. Let's get it on! Come into the ring, step into the fire, see what you want, baby. If your heart has desire, get out. Get knocked down. Deathmatch Russell Podcast. Deathmatch Russell Podcast. Deathmatch Russell Podcast.
Good evening, everyone, and you're listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. And my guest, my co-host is here tonight with me, along with our very, very special guest and returning guest, the one and only PJ Savage. How you doing, PJ Savage?
I'm good. I'm not a guest anymore. I'm like a regular. Like I'm just
okay. All right.
That's the same thing with me, man. We got the same thing in common.
I just hang out here. I got nothing else to do better on Thursday night. So.
Yeah, Thursday night. There's nothing really going on, But Everett Lee of the Everett Lee Show is here as well, folks. Is the other co-host of the most. Co-host of the most.
Yes, not Everett Lee from Adrenaline Wrestling. That's a whole different Everett Lee there. I don't know if you saw that Tuesday, PJ. That's what I've been into here lately. Right before we just went live, I've got back into doing wrestling commentary again after 2-year absent for a promotion here in Florida, Ocala, Florida, Adrenaline Wrestling, and I went a little bit in character on Tuesday. It was fun. It was, and I like being in character. It's fun, especially when you're a heel commentary. You get to talk a lot of smack. I love
being a heel in general. Just you get to let loose and have a little bit of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but we had a lot of heat with our commentary team the whole night long at Titan Championship Wrestling, causing damage as well, right, PJ? So much stuff was going on, like behind the curtains and here and there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with our commentary team. I don't know where Rob Williams was. I don't know what's going on between him and Alfred and then Kevin Haskins on the mic now. There's a whole lot of drama going behind there, so there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of moving parts over at Titan. But
I can't wait. I can't wait till we hear what actually, perspired after that. We'll have to when that comes out on video, and we get to see what they actually say about you as well. I'm curious to the man of the hour, Savage season, Mr. Savage.
We'll see. It's going to be good, man. It's going to be a fun time leading up to that Titan. Titan's got a lot of good things planned.
We do. I mean, they do. Yeah, we all do. Yeah. We do. You're making your debut in my backyard.
Oh, man.
My dad's posted,
finally,
so.
I have to drive 2 hours just to see us.
Yes, in Brick Township. Yeah, going to be great. But anyway.
Still about 24 hours drive away from Everett, though.
I know. Yes, I know. We got, I told you, maybe we'll have to make that trip one of these days. I would like to fly out there, get you to Adrenaline Wrestling or something, maybe knock on the door or something,
Yeah, bust the door down.
Maybe Everett could be my manager down at it.
Oh.
Hey, I love talking smack, man. I love talking smack. I love being a mouthpiece. One of my really good friends I've known for about 12 years. His name is Tommy, and he used to do a couple of gimmicks. He was known as Renegade Outlaw, and he also he did the Lord Humongous gimmick at one point. And when he was doing the Lord Humongous gimmick, I was going to be his mouthpiece, and it was going to be for JJ McGuire up in Kentucky for the promotion JJ was doing. And I went over to his house, and JJ asked us to film a bunch of promos and stuff, saying we're coming, because we're both going to get our license so we can even get up there, take a trip up there just to, just do something, do an angle or something. And we shot this promo and I edited the hell out of it, and it was great and everything and stuff. And it never happened. It just never did go anywhere. And I was like, damn, man, it'd been awesome to, at least try the manager gimmick, try the, mouthpiece part out.
Man, I don't need a mouthpiece, but hey, who knows, man? Maybe it'll work. You talk some crap and I'll knock out some teeth. That's all I
Yeah. I'll help you win. I'll help you win. You just keep that ref, whatever the ref don't see. I mean, it's you can't.
I'll knock the ref's teeth out too. Don't worry.
but anyway, Everett and PJ, let's talk about what you know what, man, we went to a show this past weekend, Titan presented Causing Damage, and you just walked up into the ring and said, who wants some of this?
Yeah. I mean, I was scheduled to be at Titan the whole lead up to the show. There was supposedly a couple matches that were in play, but nothing came into fruition. No one wanted to fight me. So, and this is legit. So,
yeah,
I kind of had to take the matter into my own hand, and then Mr. Johnny Moran came back after his little bit of a hiatus, and he came in looking like The Rock, wearing a turtleneck and some fake jewelry, and I was like, the former heavyweight champion is coming back. He's talking about getting gold. Everyone at Titan knows my goal. Everyone knows why I'm there. Everyone knows I'm there to be heavyweight champion. This, what you're watching now, is me on the road to becoming the guy at Titan Championship Wrestling. So enjoy it now. And I saw Johnny Moran, and that was the perfect opportunity. So I got in there and I smacked him upside. He put up the little post of him hitting me with a bottle of Coke. But that was probably the only offense he got in that whole time. I put a hot dog in his mouth and super kicked it out. So
yes, that I saw that picture. Yeah. Every ought to go back and look at those photos.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to check it out. I did do this here because I did watch on your YouTube channel. I watched your match you had with Chris Dickinson. Dude, that was awesome, man. That was amazing. I got a kick out of the commentary. I got a kick out. I just love the match because it was like power versus power, man. And you guys took each other to the limit, man. I mean, how was that for you? I mean, before and then after that match, I just want to know about that there.
I mean, a lot of people know this. I study Chris Dickinson a lot. Chris Dickinson, somebody that I studied nonstop. He's from my area. He's from New York. He's from Staten Island. I'm in Manhattan. He's somebody that I studied. I followed his career all throughout. So it was awesome to get in the ring with him. But then it's like, it's the Dirty Daddy. You're watching him on New Japan, facing Max Caster, NJPW Strong, and then all of a sudden the following week it's in the ring with me. But one of the things about that for me is that I want people to know that I belong in the ring with guys like that. That's the caliber of opponent that I am. And I'm gonna make people feel like that when they're in the ring with me. And to get in front of him and to go toe to toe, go blow for blow and hit each other till the sweat flies off. It was one of those boxing matches where you can just see the sweat just going off all over the place. And I hung in there with one of the best in the world. No matter what he's going through, no matter what trials and tribulations Chris Dickinson's going through right now, a lot of people still have his back, but there's no doubt in the world that he is one of the best wrestlers out here when it comes to the in-ring and walking through that curtain. And I stood in there with him. Next time we step into the ring together, the outcome will be different.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great, man, toe to toe, because usually when you, for me, I could tell how a match is pretty much going to go as soon as two lock up, And this I didn't really know where it was going to go because I mean, strong beginning there. It's like, damn, it's like you out wrestling each other. And then you went from trying to out wrestle each other to it's like who can knock each other down.
Well, if you watch, look, I don't have no amateur background, all right? Quit thinking this is an amateur wrestler. This man decided, and I got caught up in my ego. Whatever you can do, I can do better. That man basically just did whatever he wanted with me when we started the amateur wrestle. I am not an amateur wrestler. So after that was all said and done, I had no choice but to knee him in the face. That was like my only option. It was like, okay, you're gonna go for the single leg. I'm gonna knock you 2 count quick, and then we're gonna do this, and then it's gonna get started. You have to know you're setting the tone. I'm gonna change the tone, and that's what it was, man.
Yeah, I loved it because I didn't know who was going to win this because I like watching a match where I don't know who's going to win it because I'm like, who the hell's going to get the pinfall on this because it's just great, man. And the crowd got into it. I love the match when a crowd gets really into it, man. And that crowd started getting split there. You had half for Chris and half for you, man. That's the type of matches I love and enjoy.
That's what PJ's about. If you go to Everett, you see it. We saw it this past week at Titan when he faced Johnny Moran. The fans just like what we're eating it up. They love the moment because they don't know what they're going to get from PJ.
And that's what I want to bring to the table. When my music hits, I remember Bubba. He said it on the podcast once. He was on Busted Open. He said, if the fans don't pop for your music, then you're not over. You're not doing anything right. So when my music hits, I want people to go, oh shit, it's about to change. The vibe's about to go up. Something crazy is gonna happen. I'm unpredictable every time I wrestle. You never know what's going on. One of the things you touched upon though, and it just hit me that I don't get that. I don't see my matches from that perspective, and that's because I'm in the matches. I know the outcomes. I've wrestled them, so I know if I won or lost. So whenever I watch my matches back, that's one of those things that I don't get. I don't get that who's gonna win. Who's gonna win? Is it gonna be him? Is it gonna be him? And that's something I need to tap into because that's an emotion that we need to make all the fans feel. Those are the best moments that I feel. Even like last night with AEW, watching Mox and Danny, and it's like, who's gonna win? Is he really gonna choke him out? Like, what's going on? As a fan, when you watch that as a fan, that's a different emotion. You invoke that. So me as a wrestler studying my craft, that's something that I need to tap into. So thank you because now I'm gonna hit the study board tonight to see how I can make people feel like that. Thank you.
Oh, no problem, man. No problem. It's just one of the things that I do like a lot of workers. They don't watch themselves. They don't go back and watch themselves. A lot of them do, and I don't know if you know anyone that still does watch tape. They'll go back, watch tape. They'll watch themselves, and like no, it's like if this works or that works or I'm not going to do that again and see how this works because I know back in like old school wrestling, a lot of people watch tape, and today still a lot of people workers still watch tape, but some don't. Some don't like watching their matches.
I get the guys that don't. I do. I get the guys. I watch my stuff. I try to watch everything I do. I watch my promos. I watch my promos back. I watch them back 10 times.
That last one you did, that last promo you just had, you put out there, was very good. That was one of those eyesores. People need to see stuff. And that's one of
the things that I want to do what other wrestlers aren't doing. There's guys at my level. It's like, well, we'll cut those promos when we get to WWE. No, I want to look like a polished WWE product right now. So that way, if I get the GCW, I get the MLW, I'm already there. I already know what to do, how to take myself to the next level. So I take pride in all that stuff. So I do watch my stuff back. But to the guys that don't watch this stuff back, I get it. Because as a wrestler, it drives you mental. Like, just to let you guys behind the curtain, when you have your match and it feels amazing and it feels like everything is clicking, you walk back through that curtain, of course, you hear the crowd, if the crowd's into it or not. And if they are, you're always going to be on a high. And you walk through that curtain, and whoever you wrestle with, whether it's a bunch of people or just one other guy, you're like, man, that was good, right? And everybody's like, yeah, that was great. And then you go watch it back on tape, and it sucked. It was horrible because sometimes the crowd just doesn't even come through on that camera. Sometimes
Mhm.
being there live is different than watching it. So sometimes it might come across on the camera completely different. So I get some of those guys because it can deter you. So for a lot of those guys that don't watch themselves over and over again, it could be because they did and they went through that phase of just like it kept discouraging them, like, oh man, this sucks. And then on the other half of it, you walk through a curtain. I've had this happen to me plenty of times. I look at my opponent and I look at the referee and I'm like, that match sucked. Jesus Christ, that was horrible. That was one of the worst matches I ever had. And then I go back and I watch it. And I'm like, damn, that was good. Jeez, it came off great. Wow. Okay, that goes up, and it's like it's as a wrestler and learning your craft and doing it over and over again. It's always a learning experience. Everyone should study their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
DDP, I got that from DDP. DDP or Stone Cold and all those guys always said DDP used to put his camcorder behind there, record everything. He used to retape. He was like one of the mistakes he did was he always retaped his matches and saved it because he had to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I put everything up on the YouTube. So if I'm never bored one night and I'm just relaxing, I can go and flip through my stuff and watch me versus Dickinson, see what I did wrong, see what I can improve upon. We learn every day. We're wrestlers, man. I love this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and PJ hits me up and asks me if I did something wrong or something sometimes. So it's like, yeah, I keep my eye on it, which is good.
Yeah, like my wife, since last 2 months since I got back into doing commentary and working with Adrenaline Wrestling, I did commentary on both the shows. That first show doing commentary, it was just like I was doing color. I didn't do lead like I'd done in the past, doing lead heel color commentary. But the first show, it kind of relaxed me, got into it. But this last show we did last month, or at the beginning of this month, actually, I had to do lead. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? And I'm like, maybe if I went back and listened to some of the stuff I did back 2 years prior. So I took some of that, and whenever for inspiration and stuff I need to use material, I always hit up Roddy Piper from Superstars. That's who I hit up, and him and Bobby Heenan are the two people I draw from my character for commentary.
That's funny. When I study old stuff, I study a lot of old stuff. For some reason I study a lot of the AWA and WCC. I study a lot of that stuff, the stuff with the Von Erichs, but for me, a lot of the manager stuff always stuck out to me. Like one guy in particular, Gary Hart. He's a guy, when I go back and I study the old stuff, like as a wrestler, I'm actually looking at what the managers are doing and how, because managers get heat. They know how to get heat. There's never a manager in the world that's got a babyface pop besides Paul Heyman. But back in the days when wrestling was wrestling and kayfabe was alive, managers were all about heat. And so there's no better technicians to get heat and to get the crowd into it than managers. And Gary Hart was one of those guys. Every time he came out with Muda, he just drew the crowd. You got him. You hated his ass. So it's funny how, like, you being on that commentary aspect of it, you're studying Piper. Piper's a talker, but he's also a wrestler. He did have a lot of talking. He had his segments. He has interview segments, but he's a wrestler. And here I am, a worker, and I'm studying the manager and the talker. So you gotta love the wrestling business.
I know.
It's like
I was 5 years old. I was 5 years old when I first saw Piper. My brother, we were watching. I was 5 years old. The first impression, my first taste of wrestling at 5 years old was Piper's Pit. I remember it like it was yesterday. Roddy Piper had Jimmy Superfly Snuka on. You know what I'm talking about? A coconut. Him up beside the head. Like, wow. I'm like, I like this guy. And I just, as a kid, I liked him. And my brothers, they loved Piper because of who he was and stuff. And like going back watching Superstars, I also went back and watched, was it Georgia Championship Wrestling? I heard he did stuff in there in 81, 82, and I pulled it up and I've showed David the other day.
Yeah, his earliest stuff. Stuff, that's what I studied for Piper. His earliest stuff when he was teaming up with Ric Flair. and doing a whole bunch of stuff down there, facing the Rock and Roll Express. They were doing some amazing stuff down there. That was when Piper was like, "Is he a talker? The guy can talk." But he was wrestling asshole. That Bret Hart match he had in WWE, he was having those matches back in Georgia.
Yeah, and like to this day, and now like at Titan we have AJ Penn, and he's like one of those guys that we really shows the role, and he takes back to those rest. He takes it to his guys, to his guys that he goes.
He's one of those guys right now.
Not only him, but Benjamin King made a comeback as well.
Yeah, I mean that's a weird dynamic for me though, watching two managers pit against each other, and it's that could be throughout the show. Maybe you don't need both of them going together. It's an interesting dynamic. I'm very interested in it. I know the fans are as well. I remember sitting back and watching it and going, okay, they can verbally spar. I want to see this in the interview. I want to see this in it. Seeing them go back and forth with each other, just talking crap, and seeing them dig into the manager bag of tricks would be interesting.
It's going to be interesting.
I love that when two managers they start going after each other right there. And it's funny because I've seen stuff, and you probably seen this too, where you have a manager and their talent they're representing, and on this side a manager and the talent they're representing, and they're supposed to have the talent's supposed to have a match, but then it's like basically they step back and it's like they look at their managers like, what the hell, man? And the managers start verbally going at it, and they finally get into a physical altercation. It's the best, man.
Actually, if I could, this past week also, before Titan, also, PJ actually was at another event, SWF, and that had some heat there with that guy, Grimm. That guy is controversial, like that was like we heard the heat with that. I saw the replay video on his. You put it up there. It was funny.
There's something very interesting going on. So for those of you at home that don't know it, Everett, you don't know.
PJ had a match this weekend there as well.
I do double shots all the time. I wrestled this weekend alone. I'm wrestling 3 or 4 times. I'm wrestling twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday. So this is things that we just normally do, but a lot of the times, I'm the only wrestler that is doing SWF and Titan. So it's very taboo. These companies, you could kind of say, is on the New Jersey scene, it's WWE and WCW. They clash. So it's very interesting that I'm stuck in the middle, and if I was to ever have to choose a side, things would get really interesting. And I got a feeling things are gonna end up heading that way, because I don't know if you heard, Russell, but there was a promo that was cut where Titan was mentioned at the SWF show, and there was rumblings that SWF was gonna be at the Titan show, and the owner of SWF, his name is Rob Fury.
The one you put up. Yes.
I knocked his teeth out. His name is Rob Fury, and I think it's a shot towards him that the next Titan show is called Furious Intentions, and I'm pretty sure Rob Fury doesn't like that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next coming months. And
because didn't we? Yeah, because if we go back and we had some invasions. Yeah, I remember that.
There's a lot of invasions. Titans are known to do an invasion or two. And I mean, this invasion, Everett, if I could put this in perspective, this invasion would never happen. This is one of those invasions where you go, no, never. There's too much bad blood. Could they put it aside and do business? And then they're both going to fight over me. So it's going to be interesting if this ends up happening, which from what I'm hearing,
PJ, should I just bring one of these out to the ring this time? I think I got to bring this with me to the show.
Oh no! What's he grabbing? What's he?
I never did give it to you. I need to bring it.
Oh man, you definitely do. No, you know what? I need to sign that for you, and you just keep that.
No, you're gonna take. You're gonna take this forever. Seriously.
Oh man, you know
Hey,
what? You know what?
David, you heard what he just said, didn't you? You heard what PJ just told you. He said, "Bring it," and he'll sign it
bring
for you. Yeah, he'll use it and then sign it and give it back to you.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I mean,
I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot about this. This is a good. Yeah. All right.
and not for nothing, we can't even gloss over it. Yeah, there's whatever's going on between SWF and Titan Championship Wrestling, but the focus.
But we have but PJ, you're so busy, man. Like you said, you got roller coasters. You got to keep on going. You know, there's.
Yeah, man. I mean, and it's a quick turnaround for Titan. It's a 2-week turnaround. This is the quickest turnaround in like Titan's history, I believe. So it's gonna be great. It's still on fire. People are still buzzing about it, and one of the biggest matchups in Titans history. It's gonna be me versus.
Yeah, let's fill Everett in with Steve Monster Max, a legend from the East Coast.
Absolutely,
he's a vet.
Yeah, Monster Mac. Yeah, tell me about that there.
Yeah, Monster Mac he's a legend out here. He's an absolute legend. He's a Ring of Honor guy. He was a part of the Hit Squad with Dan Maff and Homicide and Loki. A lot of big names, a lot of big merit to him. Titan was built off of Monster Mac's back. Titan was the flag bearer for Titan for a long time. He's the first ever heavyweight champion, and he held that belt for almost 2 years. He's on the East Coast. He's like our indie Undertaker. He's like the Undertaker of Jersey, you know. Like he's that guy that everybody respects. And if you walk into a locker room, whatever he says, it goes. You know, so there's a lot of respect there. And the moment I hit the scene, a lot of people started comparing me and Mac. A lot of people was like, well, you know, Mac reminds us of a younger PJ reminds us of a younger Mac, a younger Dan Mac. I was reminding everybody at Hit Squad because we are from New York, so we have that basis of being New York, gritty, grind, hard hitting wrestling, punch you in the face. And you know me, Everett. I'm a guy that's gonna shoot for the top. I'm not showing up for you. The moment I step into WWE, I'm not shooting for no IC title. I'm going straight for the heavyweight championship. Everybody's gonna know my goals. I want to be the guy. I want to be the best guy. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. I'll see you at the top. That's me. That's my motto. That's what I'm coming in for. And Monster Mac is the flag bearer. He doesn't hold that championship right now. Gangone holds the championship. But
he needs to be buried. Yeah, I know.
But if you want to get to that heavyweight championship, you gotta go for that. And I think a lot of people, especially Max, saw how I was being done. It was like I was a boxer that no one wanted to fight me. Everybody doesn't want to fight the new cat. They don't want to give it to him because they know what's gonna happen. They know what's gonna happen. I even told Moran that, man. I told him in the ring. I had to come out here. I had to look you in your eye, grab a mic, because no one wants to fight me. You know why no one wants to fight me? Because the moment they stand in front of me, all these fans know who's the guy.
Man. Yeah.
It's hard for you to put yourself in front of that. And Max in harm's way now. Come on, I'm hungry. You know this, Russell. You know how hungry I am.
Yeah, I know you are.
Getting behind me. Everyone's the whole Jersey team's getting behind me. The whole East Coast is starting to get behind me. There's a lot of momentum riding my way, and I got Mac. I got the Undertaker, the Independence of New York. Yeah. I'm gonna bury him. I'm gonna destroy him. He says he's gonna light my ass up on Twitter. That man has no clue how hard I'm gonna hit him in the face. He has no clue. No clue. So that's the little backstory about it. I could tell you 100 times about how much respect that man has.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, his career has gone from because we know.
But you know,
after you jump him, you'll go back and hit that Moran again, and
me and Moran's got to happen. It's got to happen. Yeah. It's too much.
You know what I thought, PJ? PJ, you know what I thought about? Let's strap up a dog collar with you two. Let's make that happen, man. If you know what I mean, that would be the way to settle that one.
You know what? Somebody said on Twitter it needs to be 3 matches between me and Mac. And the first one's a singles match, the second one's a sanctioned match, and the third one would be a cage match. That's probably the only way me and Mac can settle things. And because he's not gonna let me take the flag away from him. He's not going to hand the torch over. He's a gatekeeper. He's going to be one of those guys that you really have to earn it. And you know what, man? And I'll say this again when we go face to face on the Bob Culture podcast next Thursday. I'll say it
that's
again.
Gonna be hot. Yeah,
I'll say it again. But, he was right what he said about me last year. I think highly of myself. I'm a professional wrestler, and I want to be at the top of the game. So, I think I'm up here. Matt said he thinks he's up here, but he's really right here, and he needs to earn his way up. And with due time, he'll probably get there. He was right. He was 100% right. But now it's time. It's time. I'm there. I'm scratching at that. I'm about to break that glass ceiling with that baseball bat Russell has. I'm right there.
You got it. It's coming. How's it? It's coming.
Now it's me and Matt, baby. And now it's happening. Now it's finally there. It's at my footsteps. So what do I do with it?
I need to add. You know what? I got to add to this bat, PJ. I got to put that. I got to put that right there where I'll blank that out this week. But yeah,
I like the poster. The poster. We got a screenshot right there. You can see of the next Titan Championship Wrestling presents Furious Intentions Saturday, October 1st, at the VFW Post 8867 373 Hampton Road, Brick Township, New Jersey. The doors open at 6 p.m. Bell time at 7. Advanced tickets start at $20. At the door, $30.
That's a hot price. That's a hot price. That's a hot price. $20, and that's not for nothing. Not for nothing. I gotta be very honest here. Titans putting on one hell of a show. They have TJ Marconi, the most boring big man in the business, versus Wrecking Ball Gursky. That match is gonna be insane. It's gonna be insane. I can't wait.
Go to the Titan page, Everett.
Yeah, I can't wait for Wrecking Ball to beat him in 2 minutes. There's so much on that card. You got Gangone versus Moran for the heavyweight championship. You got Kalichi versus Anthony Bennett.
You got the giant leather coming in.
Leather's back. He's back.
Maybe you can take. I think you can.
Hey, I don't know, Russell. I don't know. I'm kind of happy my match got announced.
Yeah. Yes.
That man is scary looking. I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to get in the ring with that. I don't know what that leather might smell like.
You can put a slam on the giant, man.
The card is pretty amazing, man.
It really is.
For a quick turnaround, that show should sell out, man. It definitely is.
And I've told a lot of my coworkers they're going to be there, and I got my friends coming. So cool.
But and this is the other thing I want to touch upon. This guy is probably the most stacked card in Titans history. The most stacked card from top to bottom. But remember this, like Max said on Twitter, with all due respect to all the other performers, with respect to all the other matches, the belts, the titles, and all the accolades that are on this show, the main event of this show is Monster Mac versus PJ. Now, if that doesn't put that match into perspective,
the beast,
for anyone watching this,
the Savage Beast collides. I mean,
here's the I'm on Titans Facebook page. Hey, David, we need to give a shout out to Titan Championship Wrestling because they just shared this live stream of Death Wrestle podcast.
Yes, shout out to Titan Championship Wrestling for sending this link out and letting everybody hear about Titan because we got lots of things brewing, man. And we're
Titan's hot right now. They're on another
mark your calendars. November also our big Mount Olympus. This is gosh, how many is this so far? This is like the
fourth one, I believe. This is the fourth or the third one.
Yeah. Things last time got really.
I got my eye on all these matches, man. You got Ray Kalichi with AJ Penn and Benjamin King with Anthony Bennett, the two managers we just spoke about. That's one hell of an interesting feud. Anthony Bennett is one of the most talented guys on the East Coast. And Ray Kalichi is up and right. He's a rising star. He's coming up the ranks, man. And when he won that title off the Red Creek-Con, everybody knew it was his time. And rightfully so. He's earned that spot. There's so many other matches on there.
Everett, this was the new belt that they presented him.
Yeah, I see that belt. That belt looks nice. That looks like the old style of WWE Intercontinental title, man.
They changed it again, though. It's a red strap now.
Yeah,
It's the same design, but it's a red strap and it says Titan red in the middle instead of the world.
because Everett was showing Everett had the same kind of deal at the adrenaline as an adrenaline. They swapped out the ladies division belt, right, Everett? I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, this past show we just did at the beginning of the month. Adrenaline Wrestling runs the first weekend of like every month. It's because the same day you're running this, you're going to be at this show, PJ. It's the same day that I'll be at Adrenaline Wrestling doing that for Chapter 5. Because, yeah, I'll be working too of that day.
make sure you give a shout out to us on the commentary, just to like you got something going on in your earpiece, like during the match.
Oh, I will, because I do the editing of the shows too. That's another thing I do. I wear, besides doing the commentary, I wear other hats there with doing editing the show, setting up the hard cam, make it, looking at the roam cam and just doing those things. I love editing. Editing is my favorite thing. I fell in love with it last year at CFWE doing that, and they gave me the opportunity to do that, and I've done it for Adrenaline, and it's fun.
But Everett's working hard at what he does, and now he's a sanitation man full time, so he's a jack of all trades now.
I just a couple months ago, or just about 2 months ago, got a job with the city here where I work. So it's been a good schedule, good pay, good benefits. I could retire in 8 years, or yeah,
I could too. I could
for another 20. So I was like,
yeah,
but the thing is, like, for our October 1st show, it may not happen because we're watching this storm developing over in the South America, there at the top of South America. So it's it's probably we probably won't have a show October 1st, because if we get a hurricane, we get something turns to a hurricane that heads over to the Gulf, and they're predicting it's going to head east. No, I don't think a lot of people want to come out, during a hurricane and watch a wrestling show. That's a bad thing about Florida this time of year. We're at the peak right now.
Let me ask you this, PJ. You ever done a match in the rain? You ever done that? Done that? Really? That's dangerous, man. It's really very hard to
outside show.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of epic. It's like a fight scene in a movie where the range is going all over the place. There's a very beautiful picture. It's one of my favorite pictures of all time. I need to get it and frame it. It's a picture of Okada and Minoru Suzuki in the ring for I think Minoru Suzuki's it's like a celebration show for 20 years of business or 30 years of business. And there's a picture of him and Okada just face to face with each other with a rain dripping all over them. It's epic. I mean, yeah, hell yeah, it's dangerous, but that's why we train so long for this. We know how to control ourselves when it's slippery or when it's wet or when it's whatever the case may be.
When it's sticky or get a beer in your face or soda pop.
We're on the East Coast. We got every form of weather, and every locker room's outside, so it could be 20 degrees.
We supply ponchos.
One of my first shows at Titan Championship Wrestling, long time ago.
Oh, really?
Outside, and it was cold as hell, and we was talking about throwing ourselves in the river. It was over at the Adrenaline, one of the first shows at the Adrenaline Sports Camp. Oh, and, man, it was awesome, man. So, going through the stuff, of course, we all love the arenas and inside. Titan is one of the best places that doing production. So when they get a chance to be inside, you get to see how talented Charles Dimitri is. He's one of the guys who runs Titan Championship Wrestling, and when it comes to production, he's the best guy out there by now.
Yeah. Shout out to I always say HTW, right?
Yeah.
Team.
Yeah,
production team.
Awesome. Everybody's awesome, man. And then the work he does with the lights and the smoke and all everything, man. We look like stars over there at Titan Championship wrestling.
Everett lives.
Titan going up.
Everett lives behind the green all night. Their shows are green. You see the color come shine out. It's really awesome, right, Everett?
Hey, yeah, they got the green and black. That's the colors they chose for their colors there. Yeah, they got the green, and it's sometimes when I tone it down just a bit because with the camera that I set up for the hard cam, it without the filter. I guess I have to throw a filter on that thing to tone it down because that thing is like bright. It's like, whoa, it's like, wow. But like when you're there in person, seeing it in person, because you know how it is when you see stuff in person compared to on camera, it's totally different. Because how the camera got something up. Camera does a lot of reflection, and just in person, it looks cool. But
it's like going to a live event. You see how the production is. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. The camera's roaming around, and the lights are just you guys
got a good crowd. That's what I like about Titan, man. The building that you're in, man, you get them packed in there, which is great. Having a crowd that size coming and checking out what Titan Championship Wrestling is all about. I love that. I love seeing a good crowd and getting into the matches, getting into it, cheering, booing for whoever they come see.
Titan has come to a point where we're just Titan. We're just like going stronger and stronger. It's Titan strong. It's just and also and right now we're rebranding and relaunching the women's division of the goddesses of war.
Yeah. Look, Titan, like I keep saying, Titan's on another trajectory right now. And one of the special things, right, like so I can put this in perspective for you, Lee, like when you're out in Florida, you're in all these different counties, and there's a wrestling promotion there, but everything's almost like 45 to 2 hours or even 3 hours away from each other. Titan is doing this with promotions 15 minutes away from them. And there's an influx of promotions in New Jersey. There's at least, if you wrestle,
go. You could read on Twitter, or you could read on Facebook. Richfield Park runs a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they're the mecca of the indies because every company runs out of
ECPWA to
ECWA, ECPW,
Invictus,
yes, Magic, ER Wrestling, all of them, all Battle Club Pro, all of them run out of Jersey.
JCW,
they all run there.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that Titan's building over their own niche, and they're doing it in a very crowded market. And they have a loyal fan base of fans that are just going to come in no matter what because they like the
right.
Titan's very story driven. There's a lot of spontaneous things that can happen on the show. Like you see me pop up and I fight John Durant, and that's not on the card. There's a lot of things that plant the seed. Who knows? Maybe you saw me and Moran now, and then it's me and Moran 8 to 10 months from now for the heavyweight championship. Because the seed got planted now. So there's a lot of things that are at play at Titan that I just love the way they run things. I love the way they do things. I love the way they plan things out and everything. And if you're a worker, that's a place you want to be. And you want to work for that when it comes to production, when it comes to the backstage stuff.
And we're always doing and we always have that we always advertising for to let the wrestlers know that they do a training school at the the Adrenaline Training Academy,
Yeah.
The Titan Training Academy.
Trainers down there. Frankie Picard is one of them used to do their training. Josh Adams, one of the guys, Preacher James. They've had so many great trainers go to that school and help people out. That's a place if you're in that.
And plus the kids promotion as well. Yeah, Funhouse Wrestling.
There's one kid from that school named Ben. I like Ben. Ben is he's one of those guys that a year from now I want to wrestle him. I want to build him up. I want to help him get to the next level.
Yeah, Ben needs some.
That's what it's about there. What you just said there. You want to help. There's people you want to work with, and you want to make them shine. as they can make you shine too at the same time. That's excellent. I like that mindset right there.
Yeah, I mean, especially out here, one of the only ways you can get noticed is by having a great feud with somebody. Mac said this about me. He said that was the one thing I'm missing. I'm missing a feud with somebody. I'm missing an established wrestler that would go toe to toe with me for a couple months in the program. He said that's what I'm missing. And you know why I'm missing it? Because guys don't want to go do that with me. Because I'm on another level when it comes to the in-ring work. I'm on another level when it comes to connecting with the crowd. I'm on another level when it comes to the promo work. So I make some guys look very small if you stand next to me, and I'm gonna bring 110%. I'm gonna bring 200% to the table. I'm not gonna dial it back. That's why I said this, even about Ben. I want to wrestle Ben. Of course I do. But I want to earn my stripes first. Let me get up there. Let me beat Mac. Let me beat Moran. Let me beat Gangone. Let me beat everything you throw at me. Let me chase the title. Let me hold that title. And when I get it, I'll be the guy that goes, let's go. Who wants to step up? Step up or step to the side. And either you bring the best you have, because that's what Titan's going to represent with me. Either you bring the best to the table and you can stand toe to toe with it, or you just don't even show up at all. And that's what I've been facing a lot on just basically my whole career. So many guys that play the big game, they do promos, they do this, they can wrestle, but the moment they step to me, all of a sudden they can't cut promos no more. And all of a sudden cats got their tongues. All of a sudden they're not with promotions anymore. I cast a big shadow, Everett. I cast a very big shadow.
Oh, I know. You do.
And it, you know, like I do have to spread my wings and get out the Jersey scene and dab in other scenes, but I don't want to leave. I have a lot of unfinished business here. And I'm committed to Titan right now. And I have a lot of unfinished business. And I don't think I'm going anywhere until I hold that Titan Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Championship.
Right. Now, if another promotion comes and wants to book you to do their show and out of state, how would you do that?
Yeah. 100%.
You take bookings out of state?
Any Titan dates or any dates that I already have, I'm in. I'm in there. I'll drive down. I'll come out. And look, the stage I'm in my career, I want to get noticed. The stage that I'm in my career, I want to be put on a stage, a platform to show that I can be something special. And that I'm going to connect with the crowd anywhere I go. So right now, and everybody knows this about me, this is no secret, I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for the reps. I'm in it to be inside the wrestling ring, beating the crap out of somebody and connecting with people. That's what I'm in it for. That's what's going to get me a contract, not an extra $50 to put in my pocket for gas. That's not what's going to get me far right now. What's going to get me far is driving thousands of miles to wrestle somebody and to drive back and go, you know what, that was great footage, that was a great match, and I networked the hell out of it, and I made a couple fans. That's what I'm in for right now. 100%.
Right. David, I got a few things I do want to ask PJ to get his thoughts on.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. PWI. Did you look at PWI listing this year? Do you look at anything like that? Because there's a lot of people I know that was on that list this year, especially in the indies, and I feel a lot of them should have been put up higher. But you know, and I know.
Everett, do you mind if you co-host for?
Nah, I don't mind. Okay. Nature calls for David C. Russell, but yeah, I like with the PWI. I like looking at that list to just see who makes it where and stuff. In the last couple of years, I've noticed people that I've known and have had on my podcast, and even I've talked with people, you know, on David's podcast that I do see hit that list. And a lot of the talent I see, they're moving up little by little on that list there. And I feel like a lot of the people that I saw on the list this year should have been higher up because of the damn work they put in there. For example, AC Mack, he had a hell of a year. He started off with a hell of a year with that show down in at Action Wrestling, winning the IWTV, you know, championship. Yeah. And I felt like he should have been more up, you know, on the list there. You're talking about female wrestlers, Billy Starks. she's building that damn resume, man. Like just a couple names right there. Jaden Newman, that's another one too. I mean, how do you feel like do you look at that list and you look and see like people friends, and you're like, yeah, you see them, hit that list there.
Yeah, man. I mean, all the wrestlers fit the list. I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't. I do think there's a factor to it. You notice a lot of guys that are on contract, a lot of guys that are in WWE. There's a lot of guys in AEW that don't pay attention to the list, and there could be something to that. There could be something that they know. There could be, like whatever the case may be, or it's just it doesn't matter once they get to a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
I do notice that a lot. As far as just the list in general, the guys at PWI do a tremendous job. Looking at 500 wrestlers all over the world, Japanese, Canadian, everywhere. A good friend of mine, Jeremy Prophet, made this 300s. Canadian wrestlers trying to get looked at on the scene. God bless him. Deserves it. Deserves every chance that could come his way. And there's just so much that goes into it. But the guys at PWI, they have a tremendous job. It's hard as hell to look at everything, to fit the criteria, and to do this. I know there's a criteria you need to meet. Um, there's a lot of things that can disqualify you if you, like for me, I think I had like 8 singles matches this year, and you're supposed to have 10. So there's a lot of things that could disqualify you, but then you got guys like CM Punk, who's number 3, who wrestled 4 times this year, but he's on contract and he has the masses. And there's a lot of, there's so much. There's so much that goes into it. And when you look at it also, it comes from the side of Okada's number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can argue, how is Okada number 2? Why is it not Jay White? Why is it not John Moxley? Like John Moxley killed it this year. He killed it at GCW. John Moxley, I'm sorry, John Moxley should be number 1. If
Yeah.
you ask me. John Moxley should be number 1. Roman Reigns is number 1. Respectfully so. He had the machine behind him.
Yes.
That other side of it. He had the machine behind him. He was there. He had this, there's so much that goes into it, because if I had the machine behind me and I didn't get to be number 1, a guy like Roman could look at me and be like, you see, it's not that easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, there's so much that goes into it. But me, selfishly, I would put Moxley number 1 for the work he did on the independent scene, the work he did at Bloodsport, the work he did at GCW, the work he did all over the place. AEW, he put AEW on his back. He put AEW on his back.
But now you got the loudmouth back. Loud.
Yeah, you got loud. But MJF is another one of those guys. Like I studied his interview this morning. He was on Barstool Sports. I study everybody. I study everything. He was on Barstool Sports. He's one of the hottest wrestlers out there. So I listened to him. They asked him about the PWI. He was number 16, and you could tell there was a character to it. He didn't care about the list, or he just shitted on everybody in front of him. He always shits on New Japan. But there's another side of him that he watched it. He looked at it. He wanted to see where he was at. He might not give it any merit. He might not put it on his mantle and cut it out and be like, well, look at me, I'm number 16, and make a post about it. But there's a part of him that watches it, and all of his wrestlers watch it. And it's a weird thing when it comes to the PWI people. Like, what are you looking for? What do you want to see? What's the criteria to make the list? And how do guys get disqualified?
So many guys. There's so many guys on the list now.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent. Like before you while you were gone.
There's at least 20 guys that should have made the list that I know for a fact. For a fact, there's guys that are in Connecticut that are killing it right now that did not make the list. There's guys on the Invictus Pro Wrestling roster that did not make the list. And it's just one of those things like Anthony Gangone. He's the heavyweight champion tonight. I don't know what disqualified him, but he didn't make the list. But he's one of those guys when everybody looks at the scene and it's like, Gangone didn't make the list. I had people hit me up. How did you not make the list this year? Because they look at some of the guys in the 400s and they're like, how did you not make the list? What these other people did? And there's a criteria to it. But the one thing I would say is I respect the people who make the list. I'm not just saying this to kiss their ass because they didn't even put me on the list. So if anything, I would have a gripe with them. But my goal isn't the list. My goal isn't to get a number next to my name. The goal is to
Yeah.
put my name on paper. And once you're up there, you're on contract, you're on TV. Like I told you at the beginning of my long rant, I think there's something to it. Once you sign that contract, you don't give a shit about that list anymore. When you're an indie guy, that list means the world to you because
Right.
it could get you signed. Though that's the one thing I would say kudos to Pro Wrestling Illustrated. The sheer amount of independent wrestlers on that list is amazing. It's
It is.
amazing that independent wrestling has a spotlight. It's amazing that independent wrestlers like me have a chance to put my name with the men on TV, to put my name next to the guys that are on contract, to be like, look, I'm just as good, if not better. But then there's that side of
Yeah,
it where you can't take that shit that serious. You know what I'm
PJ,
saying?
Exactly.
PJ, like
And one,
it's like it's like our friends, and wrestlers that we know right now, and shout out to Jay Bougie and Rick Recon. I mean, like a couple weeks, I showed that to Everett. He was blown away by that match that they had on AEW Dark. We enjoyed that to see two of our guys from the East Coast showcase on an AEW show.
Those guys are grinding right now, and that's what all these guys need to do. Those guys are full of talent. Rick Recon is full of talent. He's one of those guys that he can do whatever he puts his mind to. Jay Bougie, the sky is the limit for that kid.
Yeah,
he's a talented kid.
When I see talent that, like, for example, Bougie, when I see him on AEW Dark, I want to see at least get in one or two of their moves. At least that, because we know how dark and Dark Elevation goes. But like female wrestlers, there's a couple that I know that's been on there a few times already. Shauna Reed, she's been on there. Ari Alexander, she's been on there a few times. And
JC Love from
JC Love, yeah, she's the Adrenaline Wrestling Women's Champion down here. She's been on Dark.
Delco,
he's been on Dark too. But speaking of AEW, you said you watched AEW last night.
Yeah,
I think this was one of their better shows after all the crap and stuff that went down after All Out, because that, to me, it kind of, all that stuff that happened with All Out,
and CM Punk,
the CM Punk, the Elite, and that stuff, it kind of hurt them there. But after last night, they've bounced back and they've moved, they're doing good now. They're doing good now. They put that behind them, which is great, because I feel that did hurt them, but it was like, for me, how long is this going to hurt them? Because people watch both of the WWE.
If I could touch on that, there's a big part of me that just doesn't like how everything went down. Look, I'm no one in the business yet. But I'm very old school. I was brought up by Johnny Rods. I have an old school mentality. A lot of people know that about me. I'm super old school. I study more old school stuff than I study new stuff. But there's a big part of me that goes, that should have stood in the locker room. Who cares if they fought? Who cares if they bit each other? Who cares if he threw a dog at you? Who cares?
Right.
You know what should have been done? They should have been put on TV the next week and thrown right into a feud. That's what should have been done. But there's a big part of our society today, the whole canceling and the retooling and all this other stuff. It's done some greatness to it. It's done some amazing stuff, especially the Me Too movement. But the canceling side of it, it's done some harm also. And I feel as if there's a lot of this business that we need to close the curtain
Yes.
Doing the media scrum and having people close to the locker room and doing a lot of that stuff, maybe that curtain needs to be closed. Because now you feel obligated to suspend your wrestlers. And honestly, and this is just me speaking. Again, I'm a nobody and shit. I might get heat for this when I get to AEW. You fucking know. But I feel like Tony Khan felt a lot of pressure to relay the suspension, especially due to the fact he suspended Eddie Kingston a week before.
Yeah.
He suspended Eddie Kingston for having an altercation with Sammy Guevara, and it got leaked out, or whatever the case may be. It should have been kept quiet. And if you want to send a guy home, but don't put it in Meltzer's vlog that someone suspended. Like that, that doesn't need to get out. If he got suspended, he got a smack on his wrist. Let that be. But even me, just being the old school version that I am, the old school person that I am, who cares if he smacked them upside the face? Let them keep fighting. Put them in a feud. If they don't like each other, they don't like each other. Now they got to do business. That's what the business is about. Look at Matt Hardy and Edge. They hated each other's guts. And I'm pretty sure they fought backstage. You hear it all the time in the Attitude Era. How many times guys fought each other? Look at Jericho and Brock Lesnar. It's one of the most well-known fights in the history of the dirt sheets. Brock versus Jericho. Did anyone get suspended? No. No one got suspended. How can you suspend your heavyweight champion and your trios champions? Because you feel pressure or you want to send these guys home? Come on. Put it on TV. It's going to make for good TV. Everyone knows they got into a fight. It's hitting the dirt sheets. So, CM Punk's cutting a promo. Everybody's going to expect MJF to come out. What happens if that Young Buck music hits? Everyone goes nuts. Everyone's going to go nuts. It's good business. That's what this business is. Listen.
It is. People were talking about it. Tony should have capitalized on it because
look at
the little
you're
things.
Talking about it right now that it's a black eye because the guys are suspended. We all read the dirt sheets. I'm reading them right now. We read the dirt sheets and we go, when are guys coming back? You hear certain guys coming back for suspension. Now they're holding it off, and now it's going to be a big pop with the Young Bucks when they come back. And now the dirt sheets are saying CM Punk may never wrestle for AEW again. Now if he comes back, it's a big pop or whatever the case may be. But no wrestler should be put in that position. Yes, they might hate each other's guts. Yeah, CM Punk might be right. The Bucks might be right. Omega might be right. Steel might be right. Tony Khan might be right.
Omega's busy with his game, helping with that game.
But what I'm saying at the end of the day, who cares who's right and who's wrong?
Exactly.
They're grown-ass men. They got into a fight. So, look, we see NFL all the time. Guys fighting in the locker room. They fight. Teammates fight all the time.
Every
teammates
day.
Go around and suspend them. They might find them. Find them. If you want to punish them, fine all of them for fighting. Find them. Don't take them off TV. Don't strip them of their titles. Capitalize. Use it.
Right.
Use it. And this might go back to the Eddie Kingston. And as to why,
I'll tell you what. King Eddie is one of those best at the promos. We know that. One of those guys that really.
And people were going on Twitter today, yesterday, talking about how me and Eddie Kingston would be a great promo. We would go at it back to back, and it's like I love that. And Eddie Kingston is one of those guys who somebody looked up to. A couple years back, I sent Eddie Kingston a message, asking for advice. He gave me advice. He talked to me for like an hour. He didn't even know me. Eddie Kingston's a great guy. He's a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? And whatever gripe he might have, I'm just not for wrestlers getting suspended. We work really hard, and I'm sorry when the trios tournament was built up, everything was going. Everybody knew it was going to the Bucks and Kenny. It had to go to the Bucks and Kenny. But when it got put on them, it was like, yes, the wrestling world is right. CM Punk got the belt back. Yes, the wrestling world is right again. And then it's like, well, no, they're suspended because they didn't, act accordingly backstage. Who gives a shit? They're at each other's throats. They're at each other's throats. At the end of the day, we're all at each other's throats. We all hate each other. We all want to be number one. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But I will say this one thing that did come out of it. It made Tony actually, grow his set. Tony Khan grow his set, put his foot down, and like, look, You got to get some order. You got to get some boundaries. You got to do some stuff, and things are going in that, like for having him putting his foot down. I'm glad he's putting the authority down now, and I think this was like the perfect thing. Not perfect, but this was the thing that needed to happen to make him say, "Hey, I'm running the show, not you guys."
This is the other thing too. This is why I say we, as wrestlers
and fans,
as wrestlers in particular, we probably need to close the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
For the simple fact of we're grown ass men, we're wrestlers. We all got kids, we got family, we're all adults here. Like no one back there is our dad or our mom or whatever the case may be, but we follow the hierarchy because we're professionals. But there's, like you just said, this made Tony Khan grow a set of balls, right?
Yes.
I look at that as a wrestler, and I say Tony Khan probably had balls a long time, and it just got out to the sheets.
Yeah.
It probably just got out. But Tony Khan looks like he doesn't take shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? He probably gets called, a little playboy, daddy's a millionaire. He's been fighting that. A guy like that, you got to have a big set of balls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He hugs wrestlers. That's because he loves the business. Tony Khan probably has a huge set of balls. He's not afraid of nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the toughest guys I ever met. Fucking crazy, but he'll fight anybody. And that's the owner of Titan Championship Wrestling, Billy Fetzer. This man will step into the face of any man.
Yes.
He'll get killed, but he'll step into your face. Like there's guys that are in that position. You know what you got to do. You know what you're dealing with. You're dealing with some wrestlers. Wrestlers are crazy people. They're screws loose. I'm sorry. Everybody knows them.
Yeah, I've been told I got a couple loose there because David will tell you. Hearing my commentary,
there's more than a couple screws loose, man. And when it comes to Tony Khan, maybe he's always had that sort of balls. But this is the problem. This is where I'm going. Now that it's out, Tony has a pair of balls. Now you get a new wrestler, one of these new age wrestlers that come in and don't have an old school mentality. They have a new school mentality, a millennial mentality of no one can tell me anything.
Yeah.
And they're gonna walk into that locker with Tony Khan and be like, well, he got a pair of balls. I wish he would tell me something. And it's now you're gonna have people be combative towards him. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't help the locker room. A lot of the stuff, I think we need to close that curtain back and maybe stop feeding the dirt sheets. Maybe.
Yeah.
I know people feed them for storyline purposes also and to create hype. It does work on that end. I know people do use it. When they're used well, maybe feeding dirt sheets can work for some people and some companies. But at the end of the day, I feel like the curtain needs to be closed to a certain degree. And when it comes, especially when it comes to suspensions or anything like that, the only time you hear about suspension in WWE, and I'm not comparing AEW and WWE. The only time you hear suspensions in WWE is when somebody failed the drug test because they have to make that public. Because there's a law somewhere that states that they have to announce whatever happens. Somebody failed the drug policy and suspended for 60 days, especially if they're along. But that's the only time, and I'm sure you're going to sit here and tell me in the last 2 years, no one fought each other in WWE?
They have.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, man.
Look, we heard Matt Riddle doesn't get along with half the roster. That's all over the dirt sheet. Who's he working with? He's working with guys that we've heard he doesn't like, and that doesn't like him. Look at him and Seth Rollins. Apparently, they hate each other's guts in real life, and this could just be dirt sheet stuff.
And it's like that Logan Paul. It's like the celebrity Logan Paul. Come on, really? Like,
there's so much where I feel like you don't have to let the public and you don't have to let these media outlets in on your company policies.
Right.
How you discipline your wrestlers. There has to be some form of privacy when it comes to that, and in different ways to handle it, especially when it comes. I'm sorry. It taints the championship now. It's on Moxley for a third time. It taints the trios titles now that they're on Pac and all these guys. It's like, Pac's a double champion. You should be celebrating. And you got half the crowd going, no, it's not supposed to be him, no. You got half the crowd going, it wasn't supposed to be Moxley. It was supposed to be on vacation. And that hurts. That hurts. I feel like when you're a champion, when you hold the title, especially in a company like AEW, not that you should be bulletproof. Not that you should not be somebody who gets disciplined. But There's other ways to be disciplined instead of having to destroy your whole program because you feel the need to meet a certain criteria. It's not the NFL. It's professional wrestling. There's a lot of strings behind us when it comes to this, and we don't have to hold to certain policies and send everything to ESPN and be like, look at the detailed line of who got suspended because of what. And like I'm sorry, look at that basketball coach that just got suspended from the Boston Celtics. He got suspended for cheating on his wife, and it was a consensual thing. And my wife is probably watching this right now. I'm not for cheating. Like, no one should cheat. But the man shouldn't be suspended for a year for having a consensual relationship with somebody. Immoral as it may be. But
Yeah.
come on. This is just the society we live in now. It's like, well, you have to meet standards. Whose standards are we meeting?
Exactly.
What are the Twitterverse? Like, who are we like uplifting and holding? Who's holding us accountable? Because somebody needs to start holding them accountable. Because now they're invading everything, and this shit needs to stop. That's just me. I'm very old school. I apologize.
Yeah.
Just saying. Hey, Chucky.
Chucky says savage.
Savage.
DT Entertainment, Daddy Daughter Entertainment. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to all of them, man. They're amazing people. Those are two of the most amazing fans out here. Period. I love them. They're amazing, and they're needed on the scene. And me as a wrestler, when I see fans like that at every show, I want to connect with them. I want to be a part of what they do. If they want to be there every show, I'm going to make your experience amazing. I promise.
Yeah, because you know why, PJ? All these Savage merchandise is flying off the shelves. You know, I'm hearing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm sold out right now on merch. So that it's a pretty good feeling for an indie guy who didn't make PWI. But I'm sold out on merch, and it feels good.
Chucky, give some love.
Love.
And like I told you guys, I'm not in this for the money. So when I sell out on merch, I'm not sitting here counting my money, going, yeah, look how much money I made. I need to re-up, sell more merch. No. So what I'm sitting here doing is it humbles me, man. It humbles me. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not gonna lie to you, Russell. I wrestled twice on Saturday. I don't know if you guys know. I was injured. I was on the show for the past 2 months. I tore 2 muscles in my back. I've been out of the ring for almost 8 weeks.
I know.
Saturday was my first week back. It was my first show back, and I wrestled twice in one day. And after my segment at Titan, this might not sound so savage, but I sat on the bench behind the curtain, and I didn't cry, but I got emotional. It was like it hit me. And one of the things that hit me was I love professional wrestling. There's nothing else.
Yeah, and I saw in a corner of my eye, you were sitting behind in the dark on the side of the stage watching a lot of match.
That's me at every show. I'm gonna watch every match.
Exactly.
If I'm at the show, I want to see what I'm competing with. And if there is a match after me, I take pride in being what we call a main event. I take pride in that because a main event is what fills seats. A main event is what gets you hyped because you watch 2-3 hours of professional wrestling. You're tired as hell. You want to go home. You probably have an hour drive, but that main event is what keeps you there and what gets you hyped because it's what you came to see. So if I'm on a show and I'm not the main event, I got to see what this main event's going to do. Because if that's a main event and they do top what I can do, or there's a reason I'm not in it, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna take notes and I'm gonna say to myself, well, this is what I can do better, or this is what I can do to improve. So I watch everything.
Yes.
You'll always find me somewhere in some dark hallway. I was at the back, I was standing next to the bathroom, looking like a creep. Looking like the only creep with a red shirt.
Savage.
Now one other question I did want to ask you. This is WWE. Vince McMahon retired. Paul Levesque, Triple H is taking over. And here in the last month, what do you think of Triple H taking the reins now and being head of doing stuff for Raw, putting NXT back, bringing back the Gold and Black, and Friday Night SmackDown? To me, I've been watching it for a month. Because I did say like a while back ago, I said the only time I'll ever go back and watch WWE is when Vince steps away, because I felt like he's, you know, it's time for him to let his daughter and let his son-in-law take the reins, and that's finally happening. And I'm happy with everything going on because I want to see what is going to happen the next week, the story the next week, you know. But how do you feel about that now?
I think as a fan, everyone's happy because it's different. WWE has had a formula since the 80s, and Vince has stuck with it and changed ever so slightly in booking and the certain way he presents things. But Vince always does the out of nowhere thing and gets it over. Like when he was booking, and this is just me watching it as a fan and studying it, it looked like
Mhm.
Austin Theory was getting the John Cena push. And it was like the fans didn't want that. No one was clamoring for it. But as a man who studies the business, I was watching that from the aspect of, is Vince just doing this to prove motherfuckers wrong? Is he doing this just to go, you know what? Look, I can get a hold. I can do this. I can do that. I can make this man the biggest star in the business. And there's a lot of people. If you look at John Cena, I'm pretty sure there was thousands of people that didn't want him to get pushed. There was men in the back that probably said he wasn't ready. The same way they're looking at Theory. And John Cena became one of the biggest stars in professional wrestling's history. Definitely top three. For my top three in WWE would always be Austin, Hogan, and Cena. Just because
Mhm.
there's a big factor to me of money. Where how much money can you draw for the company? Are you filling out seats? I remember there's a story that Cena was looking at. They were in the Staples Center, and WWE was starting to trend up because they were trending down when it came to live attendance. And John Cena was sitting there proud, like, "Yo, we almost sold out." And Stone Cold came up from behind and patted him on his back and said, "Kid, you see all the tarps on the top? When I was here, there wouldn't be no tarps." And that stuck with me. That was heavy for me. And then you
Mhm.
see Cena, he went on the international tip. He learned Chinese. He learned Mandarin. He learned all these things because he wanted to take WWE global. That's what I want to do when I get to be put on a platform like that. I want to get there and I want to make the place better than where I left it. So if I could get to WWE and take it to heights that it's never been taken to, that's what I'm more there for. But I feel like there was a big aspect of Vince McMahon that Vince McMahon was a part of that magic. And I know all of us are watching it. We're all loving it. We're all loving what Triple H is doing. He's doing a tremendous job. NXT is watchable again. It looked like a Power Rangers cartoon beforehand. NXT is watchable. There's so many things that was going on in WWE. Raw is amazing. The mid card titles when it comes to the United States Championship and IC title, they're on a whole nother level. Walter versus Sheamus, Gunther versus Sheamus was probably match of the year. Does that happen?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that does because Triple H loves to have that. If you look at his booking, he loves to have on his shows. He loves to have that 140-minute match. And there's a part of that I kind of got tired of it, where it was like, okay, you know to expect this every show, and it's like, do I want? It could get as a fan, as a casual, when you just turn it on the TV, you might turn it off. That's one of the things that it's I'm waiting and seeing. But there was a part of me that there's a magic that Vince brought to the table. There's a magic that Triple H is bringing to the table. They're both
Mhm.
very different. They're both very, very different. Like Triple H bringing War Games back to the table. Holy
Yes.
shit. War Games
Yeah.
and Survivor Series for the first
Did
time.
you hear about that, David? Did you hear about that Survivor Series? What's since you brought up War Games, because Survivor Series, I think it was last month. Survivor Series is going to be held up in Boston, I think at the Boston Garden this year. They sold out. The pre-sale sold out. It was like, holy shit. Then when the tickets went on sale to the public, that sold out. And I'm trying to remember, when was the last time a event was sold out? It's been a very long time.
Besides the Manias, because Manias always sell out a minute.
Yeah.
But
WrestleMania,
WrestleMania,
but that was the AEW shows. They were selling
Yeah.
and then
then
actually when WWE or AEW's around, it's Chicago week in like GCW actually presented War Games. They actually had their War Games as well, and they sold that out in a heartbeat.
I heard AEW didn't even sell All Out. They didn't sell out of All Out this year, which is I was like, what the hell? But what's exciting since you brought War Games back in WCW, that was one of my favorite things to watch. And even when they did the stuff with NXT at War Games, which a few years ago was great.
It put Adam Cole on a whole nother level. Like it put so many guys in the Undisputed Era on a whole nother level. It put Pete Dunne on a whole nother level. Like Triple H knows how to elevate guys. Like
yes,
I like Dexter Lumis.
I like that PJ War Games.
There we go.
I like one of the things too. I always think ahead. I think 10 steps. I always think in the picture. I want to know what my match is going to be. When I get on a big stage, what's going to be the match that defines me and that I can carry on? Is it going to be Hell in a Cell? Am I going to be the next chapter of the Hell in a Cell guys, like a Triple H and the Undertaker? Am I going to be the next chapter of that? Is it going to be unsanctioned matches? Is that going to be something that follows me? I think that's another level.
Everett, you think of what I'm thinking about?
What's that?
Let's do a repass episode, and PJ could join us. We'll talk like old Hell in the Cell, like match War Games, and let's do that. Like
do a watch along. Watch. I mean, we can watch. Yeah, we can watch something and do a reaction there, pick an old pay-per-view and then just talk about it and stuff. That would, but you wouldn't be able to play the sound because you'd get hit with the copyright. Yeah, YouTube be like, slap you.
But we could talk about match.
Twitch. No, I think we could do it on Twitch, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, or you could do a. Yeah, I mean. As long as we can hear it and watch it and show our reaction, I think we can do it. It's tricky to pull off, but once you know how to pull it off, you can actually pull it off. Yeah. Can actually.
We'll do that. We get bored one of these weekends.
That would be cool to do. Just watch something, and then just talk about it. One year I did I talked about the St. Valentine's Massacre. I watched that with someone. That was that was Big Show coming up. Debuted. He grabbed Austin and he threw him into the cage and he accidentally helped him win the match. That was great. Vince got so mad. He's like, just yelling at Big Show. That was great. Actually, he wasn't called Big Show. He was called Paul White. Yeah, he comes ripping up through the ring, and it was like, that's Paul White. It's like I remember watching the night after with my father, and all of a sudden when they showed the clip of that. My dad jumped off his chair and said, what the hell the Giant doing on WWE? He was losing it, man. He was losing it. He's like,
that's one thing. If you was to look at WWE and AEW, and if I could take one to on Triple H, if I would ever imagine to do so, would be the debuts that he has, the comebacks. They could probably be placed a little bit better. Putting Braun Strowman to come back in the middle of a segment at 9:20.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same flair as if he was to come out at the end of the show. AEW does it amazing. They're newcomers and the returns, and look at Saray, formerly known as Cage.
Yeah.
But that to that where the pop is aligned with where it's at. I feel like Triple H maybe place them better and not just give them away to a middle segment at Monday Night Raw, and put it maybe at the start of Raw, maybe in a big spotlight match, or at the end of the show, and get a little more creative with it. Like just having Johnny Gargano come back literally at 9:45 Eastern time, and I was in the kitchen doing dishes. And because nothing happens at that hour, and maybe that's the aspect of it where you have to pay attention at all times.
Right.
But it's it's too much. It's like, okay, well, all right, damn, I didn't expect that there, and then it almost makes it feel lackluster. It almost makes it feel like it's not that important, and you're just gonna cut a promo, and it's like, okay, there's an odd feeling about it. If Johnny Gargano Black is Rebel Heart hit at 10:59, I'm gonna sit there and say, holy shit, that's how you close out a show. And there's a lot of that. If I can make one critique, which I'm not even gonna try to do, just delete this. But
delete.
I like from the stuff. I love seeing the old KO come back, the prize fighter Kevin Owens. I love that. I've been in some ways I've been marking out for that because that was like the first my introduction for Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen in WWE was that. And then seeing that come back and seeing what he's been doing he's been trying to put Austin Theory over, which I think is great. They've been working great together. And then Chad Gable, he's great as a heel. I'm loving his heel work. Shoosh. Thank you. I just love that shit. It's good. And I also like seeing the fact that people are getting opportunities now that you wouldn't think of. And it's just like Karrion Kross came back with Scarlett. When the hell was the last time? I mean, you didn't expect that. And what's that?
There's such a good package together.
Yeah.
There's so many people that got fired or it was head scratching. Like, what's going on? There's a reason for it. Like, that's where people say Vince was out of touch. Because you look at that and you go, really? Really, Karrion? You let him go? Or maybe this was just the plan. And this was, get a couple guys off the contract for a couple months to recuperate the COVID money, and then you bring them back on smaller deals. Maybe that was what.
You know what, PJ? I'm starting to, and Everett and I were talking about it before. We like watching. We were talking about NWA for a while. We were talking about like that promotion with Billy Corgan. We're seeing.
Yeah.
I'm getting hooked. Yeah, I'm getting hooked on watching that. Like,
it's good. It's good. NWA, it's good. They've captured that old school feel with the studio audience.
Yeah. NWA is the reason Eddie Kingston got to AEW, and that's why I would love to get to NWA. Those are the promos I fell in love with. Those are the promos I studied. When you get to walk up to that little desk with the NWA backdrop behind you, it looks like George Chitch. You get to walk up.
Yeah, like look, we got our guy Wrecking Ball. Ligursky's there.
Yeah, Wrecking Ball. Love Wrecking Ball. But like that's the. You put me in that setting, I'm gonna thrive. And that's the thing. It's like I just need a chance. I need a company to take a chance on me because I'm gonna make them a lot of money. I promise you. Wherever I step foot in, I'm gonna bring eyes because people are gonna go, somebody's doing something special with it. And then when I get those eyes, I'm gonna captivate them and keep them there and do something bigger. Wherever I go, and the NWA, come on, there's that nostalgia of it. That's what a lot of us grew up on. And if you didn't grow up on it, you studied it if you're in the business. The Dusty promos, the Ric Flair promos, the Piper promos, all of them, they all came from that setting. Corgan knows what he's doing. I just wish he would give guys like me a little bit of a chance. Some are newer guys to influx in there with the guys. Because if you look at the roster of what NWA consists of is a lot of guys that have been around for a long time. The roster is heavily of guys who've been on the Indies for 10 to 15 years, guys who just came off contract or not on big contracts anymore. And there's you need some young blood. I'm being a little selfish, so
because we always see Nicodelia, and just like Tim Storm, and just like the guys who really put their back on them.
So long, but when you look at NWA back in the day, NWA was about putting the new guy on the TV and you've never seen before and letting him elevate. If they didn't have that formula, we would have never saw guys like Ricky Steamboat. We would have never saw Ric Flair. We would have never saw the Rock and Roll Express. We would have never saw so many guys. Jim Cornette probably would have never existed.
Oh, hell with that
There's
guy,
so many
but
guys
yeah.
that didn't have a history, that didn't have the longevity of being around for 15 years and get put
Yeah.
on. Half of those guys just walked on and were friends of the guy who was wrestling and got put into a certain position. And he's been
Yeah.
wrestling for 6 months. Some of that needs to come back. And selfishly, I'm the guy that can be the person you start that with, because I can open that door. There's a lot of young talent of guys that can thrive, that can work, that need to get the chance. It's some Monster Mac that he always says, and we'll keep touching back to Monster Mac until I kill him. That Monster Mac always said, you need time to season yourself, to be processed, and you get processed over and over again, and then you get put up there. Maybe not all the guys need that. Maybe some guys need to be processed once. Because, look, and this is just me, all due respect to every show that I'm on and all the wrestlers that I work on. When I walk through that curtain, you know something different just happened. You know something special to walk through that curtain. And I might be one of those guys, or someone like Matt, is saying that isn't processed yet. So why am I getting those reactions? Reactions that half the guys that are supposedly processed can't even get a good sleep. They can't even get a good drive. And I'm touching all of it. So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of gatekeeping going on. And maybe NWA can take a chance at the young buck and get it going. You know what I'm saying?
Time will tell. Yeah. Time will tell. As he
Yeah, I love that stuff too. I mean, yeah, you just hit everything there. I just like, man, and love about wrestling.
Yeah, I'm about to. When we get off this, I'm probably gonna go study something old. I'm just gonna go watch some old wrestling, some WCCW, Devon Eric. I love it. It's just like the AWA stuff is so good. It's just like the Freebirds. I love the Freebirds. Michael
yes,
Hayes, so
Michael Hayes.
I love Michael Hayes, man. One of my favorite pay-per-views that I go study is the Chi-Town Rumble WCW. I think like
The Chi-Town Rumble.
Yeah,
I talked about that a while back ago.
Yeah, go watch that, man. And Michael Hayes comes out and
yes,
doing his thing. I love it. It's so good. It's entertaining. And he's not doing anything. It's so good, man. So good. That's why I love old wrestling. It's so simple and it's so over.
It's like I know it's like the guy that we're going to be seeing in a couple of weeks. Remember the Berserkers coming, the legend, the Berserkers coming. They're like, we grew up watching that guy, with Mr. Fuji, and just like it's
exactly.
Yeah. But you know what, PJ? What do you think we call it a night? I think let's call it a night. Everett, what do you think?
I'm all for it.
I am too. I will say this real quick.
Because I want to say shout out. Oh, Everett.
PJ. Yeah, this. I do. I did appreciate you sending me a link a while back ago of you on appearance on a podcast. I loved it, and I will send you something for you to check out as well.
Always. That's what this business is about, and that's where it gets lost in translation with a lot of guys. Yeah, we're all in competition, but the only way we all get noticed is if we help each other out. And I'll send you stuff, you send me stuff, I'll like it, I'll subscribe it, I'll watch the shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just gonna get it like, oh yeah, cool, thanks for sending this. I'm not even paying attention to it. If someone spent some time and effort to send me something, I'm gonna watch it.
Well, PJ, as always, thank you so much, and from me and Everett and the viewers at home. How's that? Y'all have been savaged by the PJ Savage. How's that?
Hell yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate the platform. Thanks for having me on. I'll do it again anytime you guys want, man. You guys are fan.
Like we say, we'll do a rewind. We'll do a old school. Everett's pretty. Yeah, we'll pull something out and have fun conversation.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Don't forget the bat on 10-1. Don't forget the bat.
I'm gonna add the PJ tomorrow. I'm gonna add PJs.
Don't forget it.
It's a dream. It's a dream. But here's all your platforms, right? Let's just plug all this, right? And tell everybody we're going to be, just tell everybody what's going on with you. PJ Savage and what he's going to be doing.
Just check out the BCC next week, Thursday. Me and Monster Mac get to sit down and first time ever on a podcast together and to talk about what we got to talk about. It's the first time we've ever talked to each other, essentially. Also, check that out in Titan Championship Wrestling 10-1. I mean, I got some big events coming this weekend. I have standalone wrestling this weekend. I have Pro Wrestling Magic this weekend. I have Invictus Pro Wrestling, which Invictus Pro Wrestling is one of the hottest promotions out here along with Titan. And then I got Titan 10-1. I think I'm wrestling 10-2 also. But yeah, man, just for me right now, it's full storm. After I get this weekend done, it's full speed ahead to Titan Championship Wrestling. And when it comes to following me, go check out the YouTube channel, TJ Savage. Linktree, hitting the Linktree up. Everything's there. The YouTube, Pro Wrestling TV. I got new merch coming through. Hit me up direct for pre-orders. Pre-orders on the next set of hoodies is going live tomorrow. So just hit me up, man. And it's always a pleasure. And always send me a message. I'm friendly as hell. Oh, and one more cheap plug. Wrestling over everything. I'm going to be doing some cool things with them. Their brand is amazing. They only have like 5 wrestlers sponsored on their roster. Maybe PJ Savage is the next one. But Wrestling Over Everything, they'll be doing some cool things with them. Go check out their stuff and go buy some of their merch, man. It's amazing. The message behind it is amazing. It's not just pro wrestling, it's a brotherhood. It's I love their shows. I love what they represent.
Yeah, and also we should actually plug Wrestling with Recovery as well. That's a part of our we need to bring that up. I do not do that as much as we need to. That's a part of Titan's I guess you could go ahead, PJ, it's a part of the team. It's part of our
it's part of the family. Wrestling with Recovery, they what they represent is amazing. Their story is amazing. If you have any help with fighting some demons, reach out to Wrestling Recovery. What they do for the business is unmatched. And putting wrestling with it is almost coincides with wrestling over everything, because wrestling saves you. It takes you out of some dark places, and it helps you set your life straight. And professional wrestling has done that for me. If it wasn't for professional wrestling, there's a lot of things that I battle, depression, anxiety, a lot of stuff that I go through that wrestling saves me. So Wrestling Recovery, the work they're doing is
check them out on Wrestling Recovery on Facebook and give them a like and follow them as well, because they get back to the kids as well. If you're down and out, they'll come out and do a free signing of you guys. I've actually done that before, and that's Titan Championship Wrestling. The guys will go out to a home or a school and make these kids feel the special needs, that you name it. They'll go out and put a smile on their face for the day, right? Meet, greet, right? Which is really cool.
Awesome, man. Awesome stuff.
But what do I got coming up? I don't even know if I have any podcasts. Everett, do you have anything going on? What do you got? Oh, actually, you know what, PJ, before we go, let's wish this guy a 10-year anniversary of his anniversary with his beautiful wife, Amanda. Shout out to Amanda. And
poor girl.
10 years.
Poor girl. Yeah, we've been together for 12, and today is our 10-year anniversary. We had a great morning and a great afternoon, kid free. Our kid was in school. That's all I'm going to say. And we had a pretty good evening. We had dinner where we got our dinner the night after or night before we got married. So that's kind of sentimental right there. So we had that tonight, and it was
Gonna pack your bags.
Tomorrow, I'm heading to Tampa. Me and her's heading to Tampa with our 5-year-old daughter. She's going with us. We're gonna go hit a couple places, 2 or 3 places out in Tampa that we wanted to go see this weekend, and it's going to be great.
What do you got? What's out there? What's out there in Tampa, like for the attraction wise, to see?
There's a lot to go out there and do. There's a lot of things to do out in Tampa. There's we're going to be hitting the zoo and the aquarium. We're going to hit those places there. May stop at Dino World on the way, and get a kick out of seeing my daughter.
Yes.
She thinks she's in Jurassic Park because she's seen all those movies with me. She loves dinosaurs, but yeah,
That sounds like Places by Us, PJ, doesn't it? Like, do we have so much of that stuff, like M&M world? There's like a Nickelodeon world, and like
Nintendo world, all that stuff.
Damn.
Honestly, though, man, kudos to you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
I texted David a little while ago, like 5 minutes ago. I said, wrap this shit up because I can't sit in here for 2 hours with Everett. And that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
And it needs to be celebrated. Look the right way, man. Congratulations. And I wish you
Thank you.
10 to 20 more.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
David, what do you have going on this week? Nothing. No podcast this week. No podcast this week. No podcast. Actually, you know where I'll be October 1st? Where am I going to be October 1st? I'm going to be at Titan Championship Wrestling, Fierce Intentions, as one PJ Savage goes one-on-one with the Legend Killer. You call him the Legend Killer for the night, but you're the Savage, the Beast from the East. You know, let's call him the Savage. Huh? Savage.
That's Bam Bam. That's an Asbury Park legend right there.
Savage Night prevails. You know, in Brick Township.
Yeah, man. It's Savage versus Monster, man.
In Brick Township, it's like
wait to do that.
Yes, it's going to be a great main event attraction. I mean, fans, if you don't have anything to do on Saturday night, what are you doing? Just come down to Tight. What are you doing? What are you doing?
If you love wrestling, if you love independent wrestling, no reason why you're not there. If you love wrestling, don't go to independent shows. This is the show to start it off for you. This is the show to go out, go check it out. It's going to be a phenomenal night of wrestling, and it's the night that I snatched the torch out of Monster Night.
Yeah, fee fi fo thumb. All right, fee fi fo thumb. Take down the man.
It's always a pleasure, man. Thank you guys for having me on. It means a lot.
All right, we're out of here.
This is great.
Good night, everybody. Till next time, support pro wrestling, and thank you for listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell. Tune in again and again and again. Good night, everybody. If I close this out, and there it goes. Get rid of this crap ever. Look at all this shit. This extra. This is my job. I know. Shut up.
It's still live, too. Ending everything.
Yeah. Still live.
Still live. Still live. Still live.
Anything happens when you get live.
Yeah. See, Everett. Yeah.
Here, you want me to do? Let me help you out here.
Yeah,
I got you. There we go. I know what you're trying to. I know what you're trying to play.
Try to close it out.
It's right here.
You can find more Deathmatch Russell podcast on the following. Just hit the like button and share. You can hear the audio portion of Deathmatch Russell podcast on Stitcher Radio and on iTunes. Social media, Deathmatch Russell podcast on Facebook, Twitter at DavidNJ32, Instagram, DavidNJ36, YouTube, David C. Russell, and DeathmatchRussellPodcast.com. Joner's Wrestling Podcast Network. Head over to WrestlingWithJoners.com. Follow them on Facebook, Joner's Wrestling Podcast Network. Twitter at @WithJoners_pod. I want to mention Collar and Elbow. CollarandElbowBrand.com. Use the promo code Deathmatch Russell Podcast and save 10% off when you make a purchase. Deathmatch Russell Podcast.
Be sure to visit BrainbusterTees.com for Deathmatch Russell Podcast merchandise.